guys, how are you doing today? It is Monday, March 8th, 2021. Hope you're all doing well. It's dark. Excuse me. It is super dark. It is dark and it is now like 7 o'clock at night and I'm just getting to film. You can kind of see Caroline's forehead popping up over the Christmas cactus, Thanksgiving cactus there. And I've been super busy. So I didn't film yesterday. I missed Sunday the 7th due to I had my vaccine on Saturday and I just wasn't feeling very good yesterday. I still wasn't feeling very good today. I actually worked from home today because I had a slight fever both days. Been feeling kind of achy. Really bad headache today. So luckily all of that has gone away except for the headache. I still have a pretty bad headache, but I'm going with it. We're going to keep plugging along. I am going into work tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have a good night's sleep tonight and we'll be feeling back to normal, I guess. What is normal? What does normal feel like? I don't know. So anyways, I didn't film yesterday just because I wasn't feeling all that great. And I kind of got into, even though I wasn't feeling good, maybe this is why I did this. Maybe because I wasn't feeling all that good, I started cleaning. I got this whole like spring cleaning bug thing going. Partly because, as you can see, my shelf, my new plant stand came. So I put that together, which took far longer than it should have. Only because I had to take things apart like 3 times and put it back together. But I'm not very good at putting furniture together. I get impatient. And I'm a very patient person. Anywho, I put the shelf together. I absolutely love it. I think it looks great. It makes my room so much nicer and brighter because there's more light coming in the window. Because it's lower to the ground, it doesn't block the window as in the same way that the other shelf was. I love the way it looks. And so because I have that shelf, I moved everything around. So I have my other shelf that used to be in the corner with the orchid on. I moved it here to in front of my wall hanging that I bought in Seoul, Korea. I actually moved my goldfish plant is now over here behind me, which is on this wall over here. And my string of pearls is now hanging in my bedroom. So the shelf or the big buffet table that used to be here on behind me is now over here on this wall. Oh, it's right there. You can see it. Duh. So I moved it over here and put the rest of my plants that were that didn't fit on this shelf. I moved them to this thing that also didn't fit on that shelf. And I have my African violet and one of my primroses underneath the orchid right there in the living room. Other than that, everything is on that shelf. So it holds much more, and it's a space saver. So it's absolutely fabulous. I think a great shelf for this space. I love it, and it's exactly the same size as the window too, which is great. So how much longer can I talk about a shelf? Anyways. So with that, I started cleaning and spring cleaning. And I mean, when I was cleaning, I was like purging and organizing and scrubbing the floors by hand and the baseboards and all that kind of stuff. Just doing that really deep clean that you just need to do like once a year. And so I did that for the entire house. I finished the last room today. So my bedroom I finished today and it is done and I am so happy that it's done. I feel like my house is so much cleaner than it has been in a long time. Washed all the windows And so now I can relax. So needless to say, because of all that, along with working today from home, I didn't get very much crafting done. But I do have a teeny tiny bit to show you. So let's, but real quick, I did want to say, look at my orchid. Isn't that beautiful? I will pull that closer sometime when we have better light so you can see the quality. And my Thanksgiving cactuses are starting to bloom again. So it's kind of blowing out because of the lighting. But you can see this is the white one that was loaded with plants or with blooms in December, I think November, December. I did do a few cuttings off of this plant for one that I'm giving to a work friend. So it's not quite as loaded as it was before. You can see here, that's where I did a couple cuttings. I propagated, but there are plenty of big, beautiful blooms on this one coming. My yellow one is also getting ready to bloom as well. So very excited for those to bloom and have some more blooms in the house. Go in there. One last thing about plants. If anybody knows anything about how to get Easter cactuses to bloom, mine is right here. I've had this sucker for 2 years. This is an Easter cactus now. You can tell the leaves are slightly different shaped than the plant that I just had out here. This thing grows like crazy. It's probably quadrupled in size. But I've never been able to get it to bloom. I've had this for 2 years now, and ever since it bloomed the first time whenever I bought it, it has not bloomed since. And I asked that only because I also got an email from a viewer who was asking the same thing. So if you know anything about how to get your Easter cactuses or your spring cactuses to bloom, I would love to hear from you about how you get yours to bloom. All right, let's move on to our progress for the last couple days. So Saturday I did wake up and start some knitting. So the first thing, Friday, was it Friday? That I was wrapping up. No, I'm sorry. I take this all back. All of it way back. Saturday I did wake up. Friday night. Saturday night. I don't know. I'm getting all the days mixed up. The day that the last film, Saturday, I said all I needed to do was finish one repeat of my dishcloth and then bind off. So I completely did that. So here is my finished dishcloth. I did that last repeat. I bound off and I wove in the ends. So this one is completely done and ready to go on the pile of dishcloths in my cabinet that I can use for, as I have already eaten. Normally I eat after I film. So apparently today my body is saying, no, we don't like the food you gave us. So it's trying to push it back up. Anyways, finished my dishcloth, completely done. And I still had plenty left over of the cotton. So the cotton is Dishy from Knit Picks, and I'm blowing out because of the lighting, and I can't help it. It is what it is. You know, we have the lovely halo because I'm an angel tonight. And I have my OttLight, my table OttLight in front of me just so we have decent lighting. So, oh, there we go. If I block it there, you can kind of see it's Dishy, worsted weight, 100% cotton from Knit Picks. And this, again, as I've been saying for the last week and a half, is Azure. So I completed that dishcloth. Sunday morning, I got up, not feeling that great yesterday, and I went ahead and cast on because I still had a decent amount of yarn left over of that cake. So I went ahead and cast on a standard dishcloth. And yesterday evening, after my whole cleaning frenzy, I finished the dishcloth. So this is the remaining bit of yarn from that cake. So this is another dishcloth done. I did this in a matter of an hour and 20 minutes total because I'm doing the timer thing, which now Letitia is even doing it, I think. So that's pretty cool. So, and this is what I have left over. So another just really small ball of yarn to add to the pile. So that is my dishcloth knitting. Then, so actually I'll just go ahead and throw that in there. So now I have 4 small balls. Then I went ahead and worked on my Steeler sock, or what I call my Steeler sock. This is, and yeah, that's blowing out a lot. Which I never understood why when light changes the color of something, it's called blowout. Like, it's just kind of weird. Anyways, there's the sock cake. This is a 50-gram sock cake from Knit Picks as well in the Stroll Gradient Duos, and I forget what this is called. Sunburst or Sunshine or something like that. I don't know. I call it Steelers because it's gray and yellow, or black and yellow. And I'm just slowly working my way up the leg now that since I turned the heel over the weekend. And I actually put on a progress keeper. So you can see since I started my timer on Saturday at the vaccine clinic, you can see how much I've gotten done. So I put in another 10 rows since I last filmed. And that's where I'm at. So there's my sock. So that's all the knitting I've done. So 10 rows took me a half hour. So I can do 5 rows in 15, no. 5 rows in 15 minutes, 10 rows in a half hour on my sock. I can knit an entire dishcloth in an hour and 20 minutes. All right. Then I went ahead and did a teeny tiny bit of stitching last night. So Saturday night, I did not do any stitching. So I have missed 1 day of stitching this year. I'm not worried about it. So last night I worked on my Les Jardins de Plaisir from Long Dog Samplers. And again, I'm changing all of the colors because that's what I do. And this is 36 count patina by Color and Cotton Fabrics. Color and Cotton. It's her fabric line. It's patina. It's 36 count. And I'm doing 1 strand of DMC over 2 strands of the fabric. So 1 over 2. And here is my progress since the last time you've seen it. And so last night I went ahead and finished this, I think. Let's do this because that's what I do. I finished this and then I went down here. So this entire side from here all the way down is done. So now I get to come back up here and do the same thing for the other side of the border. And then there's another box just like this. Yeah, just like that, right there. So that's what I'm going to be working on probably whenever I come back to stitching. So that is where I've gotten to on my stitching. Don't know if I'm going to stitch tonight. Kind of tired. Might just do some knitting. But that's where I'm at. I don't remember how long I worked on this timer-wise. Actually, I could tell you because my timer's right here. I am down to 10 hours and 53 minutes remaining of a 12-hour timer. So I've worked a total of 1 hour and 7 minutes. So 1 hour and 7 minutes for this section. So I'm thinking maybe just to break up the monotony of white, or which is not white, it's like 3850 something. I might go ahead and put the cherries or the berries or whatever they are over here, because there is a set of berries right here. So we'll see. But that's where I'm at on Le Jardin de Plaisir. All right. So that is my stitching for you. I did get a question about how long do I keep things in Q-snaps? Infinity? Is that an answer? I don't take stuff out of Q-snaps unless I need the Q-snap for another project. I'm a bad stitching role model. Because I know you should take your stuff out of Q-snaps so it doesn't distort the fabric. I know you're supposed to if you don't take it out, you should at least loosen the fabric from the tension. I don't do that either. I put felt in between the PVC and the fabric, so I don't worry about it. So if you want to be better, then don't do what I do. But that's what I do. So I've had things in Q-snaps for years, and I've yet to see any damage from that. Knock on wood. So that's my progress. If you have any questions for me, you can always put them in the comment section below, and I will eventually get to them in one of these videos. I can't always guarantee it's going to be the next video because I don't always get to the comments right away. Sometimes my mom helps me get to the questions so that I know to answer them in the next thing, because I'm so busy that I don't always get to them right away. I do my best. But I do really appreciate all of you and your kindness and your generosity. And if you've bought me a coffee lately, I've gotten a few people buying a coffee. I do have the link down below in every single video. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a way to say if you like something that I talk about, or like something that you hear, or if I've answered a question for you and you want to support the channel or support me, or if you just want to say thank you, you could basically tip me, I guess, in a way you could say it, or just purchase a coffee, which is basically a way of just saying thank you. And so I keep that there. I don't talk about it all the time, but you know, I do take a lot of time and effort and my own money to put into this business, and it is a business because I do also have the cross stitch designing, which is also right in there. For, you know, that I do put a lot of energy and effort into this, and I buy things specifically for the editing. I have editing software and stuff like that, so it does take money. I want to make sure I have high quality videos for your enjoyment. So, you know, if you're willing to and able to, it's not a requirement. So I do appreciate all of you who recently have bought me a coffee. So with that, I hope you all have a great evening or day or whenever you're watching this. And until I see you again, As always, don't forget to always be creative.